The transitions, we have transitional words, transitional expressions, transitional phrases. Anyway, we have three types of transitions. Three types: continuous, contradictors, cause and effect words. So, continuous, contradictors, cause and effect words. I have this question, for example. You must classify the four answer choices. For example, therefore, is it continuous, contradictor, or cause and effect? You must decide. So step one, classify the answer choices. Therefore, is cause and effect. Likewise, continuous, however, contradictor. For example, continuous. How do we know from this table? This page, page 2, is the most important page in this sheet. Page 2, we will need page 2 over today's class. So feel comfortable going back to page 2 whenever needed. So we classify the transitions into continuous, contradictors, cause and effect words. Well, as for the contradictors, Muhammad Ansam, did we explain that before?
No, we didn't.
Okay. As for the contradictors, we have, read them, Muhammad Ansam, read the contradictors.
Alternatively, although, but, conversely, despite, in spite of, even so, even though, however, in any case, instead, meanwhile, nevertheless, nonetheless, otherwise, rather, regardless, still, whereas, while, yet.
And the contrast?
Alternatively, by, in contrast, on the contrary, on the other hand.
More than perfect. Well, guys, first of all, this is a transition question. We need a transition word here. First step, figure out the relationship between what comes before and what comes after. This is the first and the most important step. Figure out the relationship between what comes before and what comes after. So the relationship can be like that. What comes before is positive, what comes after is positive. What comes before is negative, what comes after is negative. What comes before is positive, what comes after is negative. What comes before is negative, what comes after is positive. Well, when I have contradiction, like what comes before positive, what comes after negative, or what comes before negative, what comes after positive, then I need a contradictor. If I can figure out contradiction between what comes before, what comes after. So when do we choose contradictor? If what comes before is positive, what comes after is negative, or if what comes before is negative, what comes after is positive. So this is the case in which we choose one of these contradictors. Then Mr. Iham, when do we choose a continual or cause and effect? Pay attention because this is a bit difficult. I choose continual if what comes before is positive and what comes after is positive, or what comes before is negative, what comes after is negative. In this case, I can choose a continual or cause and effect. So if the relationship is like that, what comes before is positive. What comes after is negative. I know that we need contradiction. What comes before is negative. What comes after is positive. Contradiction, contrast. Very easy to figure out. But here we have a problem. What if what comes before is positive? What comes after is positive? Of the same type. What comes before negative? What comes after negative? What do I choose now? Mr. Rahab, of course we need a continual. No, it can be continual, it can be cause and effect. So how can we decide? So now we are talking about the similarity case. Positive, positive. Negative, negative. In this case, I can choose continual or cause and effect. So two possibilities now. Which one should I scrutinize first, Mr. Ihab? I should scrutinize cause and effect first. If I find the relationship of Y because, then I choose cause and effect. If I didn't find the logical why because relationship, then I choose continual. We will apply that, guys. Well, this is IQ now. IQ. A, B, C, D. In A, I find contradictor. Contradictor. In B, contradictor. In D, contradictor. In C, cause and effect. Choose the correct answer. And A, B, D are contradictors of the same grammatical type. What is the correct answer? Someone would say, Mr. Ihab, are you kidding us? How come? We need what comes before and what comes after to figure out the relation. No, you do not need what comes before, what comes after. You just need the answer choices. Send the answer. Give it a try. What can be a correct answer? رهف, excellent. Abdulaziz, Jad, Muhammad Hassan, Anas, Sulaiman, Al-Walid Khalid. All of you answered it correctly. Muhammad Abdullah, correct answer. Who else? Wow, guys. That is marvelous. Muhammad Walid, correct answer. Well, why did I say it is IQ? Because we must ask them, can we have more than one correct answer for a single question? No, I cannot find more than one correct answer, right? That means if I need a contradictor, if this is assumption, it means I have three correct answers, A and B and D. Can I find that on SAT? More than one correct answer? No. Then I know now that the relationship between what comes before and what comes after is not contradiction. It cannot be contradiction, because if it is contradiction, there will be 3 correct answers, and that is nonsense, of course. So I make educated guess that C is the answer, and it is. And it is. Pay attention, please. Well, I give you another case now. Now I have 3 answer choices. A, B, 4, I mean C and D. A, contradictor. B, continuer. And D, continuer. And C, cause and effect. Without looking even at what comes before or what comes after. Can you eliminate 2 answer choices? Eliminate 2 answer choices. Send me the answer choices you can eliminate. More than perfect. More than perfect. Yeah. Abdulaziz, A is a contradictor and D is continuer, Abdulaziz. Well, excellent, guys. I can get rid of the continuer in B and the continuer in D, right? The continuer in B and the continuer in D, because they are the same. They are the same. If we make an assumption that they are of the same grammatical function. Well, now this one, guys, let's apply that on such case. In A, I can find nevertheless. C, nonetheless. And answer choice B, moreover. And answer choice D, therefore. Get rid of 2 answer choices. Get rid of 2 answer choices. Get rid of 2 answer choices. Without even looking at the text. More than perfect. That is marvelous. Get rid of 2 answer choices. Wow, guys. Well, now I say that nevertheless is a contradictor. Contradictor. And the nonetheless is a contradictor. Contradictor. Well, moreover is continuer, therefore is cause and effect. Well, I can get rid of A and C because both are contradictors with the same grammatical function. Both are conjunctive adverbs. That means they are almost the same. They are almost synonyms. No distinction at all between A and C. Nevertheless, almost equals nonetheless. So both are wrong. I cannot have more than one correct answer. If you think, Mr. Ahab, I can choose A, you can never choose A, because if A is correct, C will be correct as well. And we cannot have more than one correct answer for a question on SAT. So I make an assumption now. A is wrong and C is wrong because they are the same. Both are contradictors. I give you now another case. Do not switch on the microphone, guys, unless you raise hand. I mean that for this question. Because if someone asks a question, you know, you spoil everything. Well, here we go. Now, guys, nevertheless, but this is a tough one. And although and moreover, what do you think of this one, guys? Can we get to the answer now? Or we need what comes before, what comes after? If we classify the answer choices into continuer, contradictor, cause and effect, can we get to the answer? If you are comfortable with an answer choice, send it via the chat box now. If you think that an answer choice is favorable, send it. What is the answer? What can be the answer of this question? If we can decide now. Well, guys, Muhammad Asam, switch on the microphone.
Yes.
You say that D is the answer, right?
Yeah.
If I tell you that it is totally incorrect.
So it's B.
How can we make sure that it is B? Just wait.
Nevertheless, and
No, I tell you something now. Let's classify the answer choices first. Well, nevertheless is a contradictor. You agree?
yeah.
But is a contradictor. You agree?
Yes.
Although it's a contradictor, right?
Yeah.
Moreover is a continuer. Correct?
Yes.
So, according to the basic rules of elimination, we can eliminate A, B, C, and we choose D, right?
Yes.
This, if the three contradictors are of the same grammatical type, of the same grammatical function. The question for you now, does the word nevertheless function as but as although?
No.
Do we have two grammatical synonyms even for A, B, and C?
No.
What is the grammatical function of nevertheless? The classification. It is a contradictor conjunctive adverb. And but?
It's fanboys.
One of the fanboys. Conjunction. Excellent. That is coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction. Although huh,
No, I don't know it.
subordinating conjunction. Although it's subordinating conjunction, although begins a subordinate clause. Well, in this case, I have something special now. Why? Because regarding the transitional function, A equals B equals C. But regarding punctuation, regarding grammatical function, A does not equal B does not equal C, right? So I cannot eliminate A, B, C, or D. I eliminate the answer choices if they are of the same type exactly. For example, nevertheless is a contradictor, nonetheless is a contradictor, nevertheless is a conjunctive adverb, nonetheless is a conjunctive adverb. So they do the same transitional function plus the same grammatical function. While when it comes to nevertheless, but although, they do the same transitional function, but they do not do the same grammatical function. The three are different, totally different. For example, if I find the comma, then I need one of the fanboys. I need the word but. If I need a subordinate clause, I would choose although. What if I find the semicolon before the blank, the space, followed by comma? If this is the case, no word would function except nevertheless or moreover, because both nevertheless and moreover are conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs. So how can I decide, Mr. Ihab? First of all, you need to read what comes before, what comes after. If you find we need a continuer, you would choose answer choice D, because this is the only continuer. If we need a contradictor, you say, what do I need now? Do I need one of the fanboys? So I choose but. Do I need a conjunctive adverb? Then A, nevertheless. Do I need a subordinating conjunction? So I choose C. It depends on the grammatical pattern now. Well, all of you pay attention, guys. I will give you the 5 minutes, 5 minutes to study this page well, page 2. So when I ask you, for example, meanwhile, you say it is a contradictor. Hence, you say it is cause and effect, Mr. Ihab. I say, in other words, you say it is a continuum. I give you now 5 minutes, guys, to do this task. Study page 2 now. And still, guys, you can go back to this page whenever needed, as I told you at the beginning of the class. Go ahead, Walid.
Good morning, Mr.
Excuse me.
I just want to ask a question. What's
ahead.
the difference between SAT1 and SAT2?
We don't have SAT2. We have Act 2 now. And instead of SAT2. We used to have SAT2, but it is canceled all over the world. So we have SAT1 and Act 2. You do not think of anything with number 2 unless you get to grade 11.
Okay, thank you.
Regarding Act 2 that you will take, you will study biology and math, almost. Biology and math. But start thinking of that when you get to like after the first quarter, the second quarter of grade 11. Or at the
Okay,
beginning of
thank you.
grade 11. You're so welcome.
I was just asking because in the school website there was SAT and SAT2. So that's why I'm asking.
Are you sure? Which school is it?
An International School.
Okay.
Thank
Think with it. No problem. Oh my God. Two minutes remaining, guys. Oh, thank you, guys. Raise hand if you can hear me now. Muhammad Arabi. Muhammad Arabi. Okay. Well, so for example, as to do this question, I need to read what comes before, the independent clause before, and the independent clause after. And I ask what is the relationship between these two. So I need, yeah. Do this question, guys, give it a try and we'll discuss it. Number one. Play positive and negative technique. Play this game, guys. Positive, negative. Lower your hands, all of you. Send the answer to this question. No. Step 1. Classify the answer choices into continual, cause and effect, or contradictor. Step 2, figure out the relationship. Step 3, choose the answer choice that corresponds to the relationship. Well, so we will discuss it with Muhammad Abdullah. Switch on the microphone, Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
You say that A is the answer, right?
No,
Uh,
maybe not me.
Excuse me?
Not me. Maybe you confused me with someone else starting their name with M and A.
Yeah. So what is your answer for this?
D.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
That is weird. Yeah, okay. I got it. Lujaina Khalid, switch on the microphone, Lujain. Guys, feel comfortable going back to this page. It is okay. So whenever I ask you to send the answer of any question, you can go back to this page to figure out the function of the answer choice. It can be, no problem, till you memorize and study them well. Lujaina Khalid, switch on the microphone, Lujain.
Yes, mister.
You choose B, Lujain, right?
Yeah.
In contrast, what does the in contrast indicate?
Again?
What does in contrast indicate in English? Continual or contradictory or cause and effect?
Continue.
In contrast,
Wait.
contrast means contradiction,
Yeah.
right? Contrast means contradiction. So we are talking about positive, negative, or negative, positive. Do you find the relationship of positive, negative, or negative, positive here? So what is positive, for example? And what comes before, I see the word strong. And what comes after, I see can't carry the box. This is contrast. This is contradiction. How come you say before strong and when what comes after cannot carry the box? This is contradiction. In this case, I can think of, however, in contrast, and nevertheless, or according, just A, B, or C. So I end up with choosing one of them according to the function. Do you see contradiction relationship or contrast relationship between what comes before what comes after? Let's read. The Antarctic Peninsula and the surrounding islands have milder temperatures and liquid water. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Good.
How did you know?
Because here it says that they have milder temperatures and liquid water.
Excellent.
So
that is positive. What comes before is positive. What comes after? More species are able to thrive there. Is it good or bad?
good.
So that is positive. So I have positive, positive. It can never be any word indicating contradiction at all. So however, wrong in contrast, wrong nevertheless is wrong because I can just choose A, B, or C only if I have positive, negative, negative, positive relationship. So I end up with having one possibility only, which is accordingly. Accordingly indicates cause and effect. I want to make sure that it is cause and effect. Who? Jad Mohammed. Switch on the microphone, Jad. Jad Mohammed, switch on the microphone, Jad. Muhammad Abdullah. Switch the microphone, Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Now I know that accordingly is cause and effect, right? But I want to make sure that my answer is correct. How would I make sure that the cause and effect works? I do why because. Can we apply why because here? So for example, if I say why more species are able to thrive there, does this answer my question logically? For example, if I say because the Antarctic Peninsula and the surrounding islands have middle temperatures and liquid water, does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If why because makes sense, then I need cause and effect word. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Well, guys, remember that when I say you must figure out the relationship between what comes before and what comes after. This before must be a complete thought. Subject, verb, complete thought. This after must be subject, verb, complete thought as well. Take that into consideration. So when I ask you to compare what comes before and what comes after to figure out the relationship, you must make sure that you are reading independent clause, something meaningful before and something meaningful after. For example, in this question, when I read what comes before, if you think that it is what comes before, this is totally incorrect, because that does not make any sense. That is a fragment, tropical marine mammals. So if you think that I will read this and this is what comes before and this is what comes after, this is totally wrong. What? Because what comes before here, according to that understanding, is a fragment. So that does not make any sense at all. What comes before must be given subject, verb, complete thought. So it is what comes before. This is what comes before. And what comes after is this. Mr. Ihab, what about this tropical marine mammals? This belongs to what comes after, not before, because this is the subject of the verb have, right? This is the subject of the verb have. So this belongs to what comes after, not what comes before. This is a very important tip. So what I highlighted belongs to what comes after, not what comes before. I ask you now to send the answer of this question. Go ahead. Mirna, correct. Abdulaziz, correct answer. Muhammad Hassan, correct answer. Walid Khail, correct answer. Excellent. Sulaiman Najib, switch the microphone. Excellent, Muhannad. Rahma. Perfect.
Yes,
Bravo.
Mr.
Sulaiman, if we find contradiction, do not waste your time with cause and effect. Okay?
Okay.
For example, here, healthy Arctic marine mammals have thick layer of fat. This is what comes before, thick layer of fat. And in what comes after, very few fat reserves. Can you figure out the contradiction now between what comes before, what comes after?
Yes.
If it is contradiction, get rid of the continuous and the cause and effect. Therefore, is cause and effect, get rid of it. Likewise, is a continual, get rid of it. For example, is a continual, get rid of it. So the only word that indicates the contradiction between what comes before, have thick layer of fat, and what comes after, very few fat reserves, is the however. which is a contradictor. Well, all of you pay attention. Here, guys, there is an exercise for all of you. We have two steps here. Step one, figure out the relationship between what comes before, what comes after, and choose it. For example, in number one, I must read what comes before and what comes after to figure out the relationship. I choose the relationship, continue, contrast, cause and effect. It depends on the relationship. Then I choose the suitable word. For example, if I choose contrast, the only contrast word is but. Contrast means contradiction. If I choose continue, then it can be and. So I ask all of you now to send the answer of number one. You will send the answer like this, guys. For example, you will send number one, continue. This is an example, guys. This is not the answer. Continue and or contrast but. Okay, now guys, all of you send the answer of number one. So you know now what you will do, I believe. Just wait. Go ahead.
So, Mr. We should send before the answer if it's continue or contrast.
Yes, yes. Like this, number one, continue and or contrast but, like that, okay? You must send the relationship. Marvelous. Okay. Explain it, Muhammad Walid, explain it, Muhammad.
Yes, miss.
Explain it.
Okay.
You say now, you say contrast, but, right?
Yes.
Explain. Contrast means we have contradiction between what comes before and what comes after. Where is the contradiction? Well,
It is no mystery.
no problem. You must write some notes. Well, oh, this is so weird, Jad. How come contrast C? If it is contrast, it can't be C. And is a continual. Anyway, who can explain it, guys? Rahab,
Yes.
go ahead.
In the first sentence, it says in the past. In the second sentence, it says now. So it's obviously contradiction.
No. Pay attention. It is just a secondary clue. But it is not primary clue because I can just talk about the same thing in the same way in the past and now. and in the future as well,
Okay.
right? So
Yes.
try to figure out something else. Can I ask you about the meaning of a word?
Yes.
What does this word mean?
Very good.
No.
Huh?
Homogeneous means very good.
Same.
No. What does homogeneous mean, guys? Anas,
Means similar or identical.
similar, of the same type. Yes. So this word, guys, means similar. Homogeneous means similar. And now I can see this word different, right? So homogeneous contradicts with the different, then it is contrast. And the only word that indicates contrast is but. This is the answer. Contrast but. Homogeneous means similar and it contradicts with different. Be careful with in the past and now. In the past and now. It may give a clue, but be careful with it because it is risky, by the way. It is risky, guys, if you say in the past contradicts with now. Now just makes shift in tense, shift in time. Okay, I can say that in the past people loved football and now people love football and in the future people will love football. So I'm just expanding the idea. There is no contradiction at all here. Now, guys, all of you send the answer of number 2. Go ahead. Muhammad Arabi,
Yes.
do you have a question, Muhammad? Muhammad Arabi.
Yes.
You switch on the microphone, Muhammad. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay,
But
then
it's
mute.
different.
No problem. No. This is for your privacy. I asked just for your privacy. What? Excellent. More than perfect. Guys, yeah. Excuse me. Who will explain it? Today. Marvelous, Rahaf. Well, I will discuss it with wow, Muhammad Abdullah, genius, Muhammad. Abdulaziz, switch on the microphone, Abdulaziz.
Yes, sir.
You choose cause and effect and consequently, right?
Yes.
And that is totally correct. Let's explain that. How did you get to cause and effect and consequently?
Okay. I usually ask a question. Why researchers are unable to drill into Earth's core? And here is the question, because its chemical composition remains a mystery.
Well,
Or
so
the opposite.
Well, that is a good question now. The opposite is correct.
Yes.
Now see, Abdulaziz, what occurred. When you read it yourself, you felt that it does not make any sense, right?
Yeah,
because you applied the y
on the wrong part.
yeah. So here, guys, we ask why with the effect, and because with the cause. So step one, Abdulaziz, I must read what comes before, right? Then what comes after? I try to figure out the tone. Researchers are unable to drill into the Earth's core. The tone is positive or negative?
Negative.
Of course. That is failure for researchers.
Yes.
Negative. What comes after now? The chemical composition remains a mystery. Is it positive or negative?
Also negative.
Negative. Negative means I have to eliminate any answer choice suggesting contradiction, right?
Yes.
So in contrast is totally wrong. Now I have two possibilities. It can be continual, it can be contrast, cause and effect, sorry. So we got rid of contrast because there is no contradiction at all. We have negative. Well, now, if I'm left between continue and cause and effect, which one should I scrutinize first? Cause and effect. I apply why because. If why because works, I choose cause and effect. If why because it doesn't work, I choose continue. That's it. Well, I'll apply now why here, and because there, if it works, I choose cause and effect. Because the cause and effect, guys, is about why because. Well, why its chemical composition remains a mystery? Because researchers are unable to drill into the Earth's core. It makes sense now. Why its chemical composition remains a mystery, and I give you the answer now. Because researchers are unable to drill into the Earth's core, so it is cause and effect. The only cause and effect word is consequently. This is the only cause and effect word. The others have indeed, and for example, continuous. I just need cause and effect. Well, number 3, you choose. Abdulaziz, switch on the microphone.
Yes, sir.
You say contrast, Abdulaziz?
Yes.
How come? Figure out the contradiction, please.
Okay, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Good or bad? Positive,
Good.
negative? Okay,
Positive.
good. What comes after? Read it 2 times before you tell me the answer. Is it positive or negative?
Mister, it's confusing.
How come? I describe now, see? The
Have
net
confidence first.
I tell you now. Its architectural beauty has never been surpassed. No other building surpassed This is the meaning.
Okay.
No other building surpassed the architectural beauty of Taj Mahal. It means that Taj Mahal is on the top.
Yes, yes.
Nothing surpassed it. This is pure positive. So, and what comes after, guys, I say that its architectural beauty has never been surpassed. For example, surpass, guys, what is the meaning of surpass? This is the France rank 1, Argentina rank 2. When I say Argentina surpassed France, it means Argentina became rank 1 and France rank 2. This is to surpass. Okay. So when I say its architectural beauty has never been surpassed by any other building, of course, it is pure positive. So that is positive, positive. If positive, positive, I must get rid of contrast. Consequently, I get rid of however, because it is contradiction. And on the other hand, well, do I choose cause and effect? No, for simple reason, because I don't have any cause and effect word. So this is out. Continue. I have two continuers, Mr. Ihab. What should I do now? I know that the answer is continue, but I have two answers for continuers. I have, for example, and indeed. What do I choose? If you know the difference between, for example, and indeed, raise hand. Both are continuous, but there is distinction between them, of course. What is the difference between, for example, and indeed? So see, guys, I have two continuous and I cannot eliminate any of them because they are different. The difference between, for example, and indeed. Go ahead, Muhammad Abdullah.
Yes, sir. Indeed, is when you agree with someone, continue their statement. But for example, is when you're in an argument, not specifically in an argument, but trying to show more than one.
Well, Muhammad. Okay.
I'm so
No,
sorry, sir.
no problem. You apologize for what? I saw Muhammad. No, Anas Badawi.
Yes, sir. For example, to give an example,
Yes,
but
that is
indeed
correct.
or in fact, to confirm something or
To
assert
confirm, yeah.
something.
That is correct. Well, guys, all of you pay attention, please, because this is important. I have now 4 continuers. You must know the difference between continuers. You must know the difference between contradictors. You must know the difference between the cause and effect words. Here, guys, simply, if what comes before is general, what comes after is a specific. General, specific, I choose any of these two, for example, or for instance. Here I have the states, and here New York. States is general, and New York is one of the states, so specific. And what comes before? You saw the word languages, and then what comes after? Spanish. Colors. And what comes before? General word, and red, a specific word. So if you find the general specific relationship, you would choose, for example, or for instance. If you notice that we are giving example in what comes after, you choose for example or for instance. So what if, Mr. Ahab, what if I find here the word problems? And I find here one of these problems is, so this is generally specific relationship because I will give an example of the problems. So we are fine now with, for example, when do we choose indeed or in fact? As Anna said, this is to emphasize or to assert. If I say something here, Al Ahli is the best football team in Africa, and I want to say the same thing, almost the same thing, but with other like words maybe. So I say indeed or in fact. So indeed or in fact, almost to repeat the same thing. So what comes before is general, what comes after is general, or what comes before is specific, what comes after is specific. You almost say the same thing you want to emphasize. You want to emphasize. So you use indeed or in fact. So this is piece of information one, and this is piece of information one. I will not write a new piece of information here, the same piece of information. The same piece of information. I almost say the same thing to just emphasize. So it's almost repetition. Well, here, guys, we know if I find the general before and the specific after, I write, for example, or for instance, in between. This is a case and a question for you. What if I find the specific before and general after? What do I write here? How can I link these two? Send your answer or raise hand. How can I link specific to general? Moving from specific to general. This is a tough question. What transitional expressions can I use to link specific to general? No one? Well, this is a bit tough question. We can go for in general or in broad terms. You have to write that down, by the way, guys. You will not find that on the sheet. In general or in broad terms. This is for moving from specific to general. Well, now we need to differentiate between in other words and these two, in fact and indeed. We explained the in fact and indeed. We say that we use that to emphasize, to confirm, to assert. But what if I find that I need a continuer? We go for a continuer if what comes before is positive, what comes after is positive, or what comes before is negative, what comes after is negative. So I need to continue the idea, to expand the idea. What if I ended up with knowing that I need a continuer and I found these two choices, in other words, versus indeed? Who can differentiate between these two? This is a tough question. What is the difference between in other words and in fact or indeed? A very tough question. Well, as I told you guys, with in fact or indeed, you just repeat with the same writing style, with the same difficulty level. This is piece of information one, and it is repeated almost here within other words, or that is. This is piece of information one, and this is piece of information one. So we didn't state the difference. You notice now that what comes after is a simplified version of what comes before. Simple writing style. So here we have a difficult term, for example, difficult term. I want to explain it for the reader, so I can go for in other words, or that is, and I explain it in easy words. So I can find that piece of information one and what comes after is explained clearly, easily than piece of information one and what comes before. Right? So I will find the same piece of information, but simplified. Simplified. Who can tell me the difference between moreover, versus in or indeed? What is the difference between moreover and indeed? Raise hand if you know. The difference between moreover and indeed. Anas Bedawi, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Moreover, to add an information, and indeed to assert something.
100% correct, yes. Here, guys, indeed, as I told you, you find piece of information one in what comes before and in what comes after the same piece of information. But moreover indicates something different from indeed. With moreover, guys, I write two pieces of information. This is piece of information one about USA. This is a piece of information two about USA. So with moreover and also in addition, I just write a second piece of information and what comes after, second piece of information. But with indeed, in fact, I write the same piece of information to just emphasize. In other words, that is, I write the same piece of information, but in simple language, in easy words, to make the reader understand something a little bit difficult, a little bit complicated in what comes before. This is the distinction between them. Okay. Back again to the questions. But I give you guys a 7-minute break and we'll be back exactly at 4:50 break time. Here we go back again, guys. Well, number 3, or this one. Yeah. Here, guys, what comes after is not an example at all. Some people believe that it is its architectural beauty has never been surpassed. So it is not an example. I choose indeed because I emphasize the same idea, and what comes before the Taj Mahal is regarded as one of the 8 wonders of the world. So that says the same thing about the beauty of the building. Number 4. So the answer. We all wish Morocco the best of luck today, guys. Okay, Jay, don't worry. Rahma Mohammed, switch to the microphone if you please, Rahma.
Yes, Master.
This is what comes before. Music serves no obvious purpose. Is it positive or negative?
Negative.
Excellent. What comes after now? Let's read it. It has played a role in every known civilization on Earth. Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Of course. So what is the relationship? Negative, positive, so the relationship is contrast. We explained that you joined late, I believe, right?
Yeah.
If what comes before is negative, what comes after is positive, then of course it is contrast. Which word from these indicate contrast or contradiction? Just one word, which is however. Okay?
Okay.
What? So, number 5, guys. Send the answer, all of you. Oh, here we go. I will explain it. Muhammad Assam, explain.
Yes. First of all, he said in the first sentence that technology offers remarkable opportunities for self-expression and communication, which is positive. And in the second sentence, he said that it's distraction, which is negative. So we should use a word that provides contrast, and that word is alternatively.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. See, guys, it's easy, guys. Do not overthink it. It's very easy. First of all, play positive, negative game. What comes before? Modern technology offers remarkable opportunities. Wow. Of course, it is positive. What comes after? It offers many possibilities for distraction. Of course, it is negative. That is a bad thing. Positive, negative means I need contradictor. That is contrast relationship. The only contradictor here is alternatively. The only contradictor. Easy, very easy, guys. Just one word for contradiction, which is alternatively. That is what I choose. Because what comes before is positive, what comes after is negative. How did I know that what comes before is positive? Because describing something as offering remarkable opportunities, that is pure positive. Describing something as a possibility for distraction, it is pure negative. So it is contrast. The only word that indicates contrast is D. Easy. Think it this way, please. Number 6. It's in the answer. Okay. Raise hand if you can explain it. Excellent. Rahaf, Abdulaziz, Mirna, Sulaiman Najib. Muhammad Walid, the relationship is correct, but the choice is wrong. I cannot figure out how come. Rahaf, go ahead.
It says, in order to save an endangered species, preservationists must study it in detail. This is positive. And scientific information about some endangered animals is scarce. This is negative. The only contrast here we have is however.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Of course, guys, when you have like rare information, it means you almost do not know anything about that phenomenon. So when we describe something in science as a mystery, it means it is a negative, of course. So we have positive and negative relationship contrast. The only contradictor among the four is A. However, number 7. Go ahead. Marvelous. Great. This one is a bit difficult. It is cause and effect. And the only cause and effect is consequently. But why cause and effect? This is the question. Many people are surprised to learn that the Nubians constructed far great number of pyramids than the Egyptians did. Can you apply why here? And I find the answer with because there. Let's try this. If it works, then 100% it is cause and effect. Why many people are surprised to learn that the Nubians constructed far great number of pyramids than the Egyptians? Because pyramids are most commonly associated with the ancient Egypt. That is the cause of the surprise. Why they are surprised that Nubians built a far great number of pyramids than Egyptians, because pyramids are most commonly associated with ancient Egypt. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. So cause and effect and A. Feel comfortable making mistakes, guys. You know what? It is okay to err. No problem at all. And number 8. Modern chemistry keeps insects from ravaging crops. You choose now. Wow, guys, great. Great. See, modern chemistry. So I ask, is what I'm gonna read now positive or negative about modern chemistry? Let's read. Keeps insects from ravaging crops, removes stains and saves lives. That is pure positive. Well, what comes after now? Exposure to chemicals, yes, is good or bad? Is taken toll on many people's health. That is pure negative. That is a bad thing. When I describe chemicals as taking a toll on many people's health, it means the chemicals affect the people's health in a very bad way. So that is a contradiction between what comes before and what comes after. So contrast, and the only contrast word here is however. Number 9. It's in the answer. Wow, guys. Marvelous. Cause and effect, therefore. Why? Because I can apply. Why? Because fairs often attracted large crowds and led to rioting. Authorities were reluctant to grant permission for fairs to be held. That is bad thing about fairs, and that is a bad thing about fairs as well. So negative, negative. If negative, negative, it cannot be contrast. I have two possibilities. Continue, cause and effect. Which one I scrutinize first, cause and effect? How can I scrutinize it? By playing why because game. Let's ask now, why authorities were reluctant to grant permission for fairs to be held? Because fairs often attracted large crowds and led to rioting. That makes sense, actually. It gives the reason of why authorities were reluctant. Reluctant means lazy or unwilling. Why authorities were unwilling to grant permission for fairs? Because fairs attracted large crowds and led to rioting. So why? Because works, it cannot be continue. The only cause and effect word is therefore. Last question. Kevin. Here we go. That is easy. Well, guys. Excellent. Continue. B. There is no contradiction, of course. Here I say skilled managers are in high demand. So that is good. That is positive. Management professionals with the right experience and credentials are currently some of the most sought after professionals in the world. That is positive as well. So positive, positive. I get rid of answer choice A because this is contradictory. D, contradictory. I end up with having indeed and C. What is the difference between B and C? Indeed, guys, what comes before is like what comes after. This is info 1 and this is info 1. So you say the same thing with different words, but besides, no, besides is different. And what comes before, I find the piece of information 1, and what comes after, I find the piece of information 2. Do I add a new piece of information? No, I just say the same thing actually. In high demand equals exactly the most sought after professionals. When I say skilled managers are in high demand equals they are some of the most sought after professionals. Who can tell me the base form of this sought, guys? So sought is the past of which verb? The past simple and past perfect and past participle of which verb? Who can tell me? Sought is past simple and past participle of which verb? Rahaf.
Seek.
Excellent. Of seek. Well, guys, so the homework, just wait. The homework is from page 5. From page 5 to the end of the sheet. From page 5 to the end of the sheet. This is homework from 5 to 15 The deadline tomorrow 7 p.m. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr.
You're so,
Thank you.
Sir,
you're so welcome, guys. Bye-bye.
Mr. Ihab,
Who are you?
Rahma.
Yeah, Rahma.
Mister, I finished the Khan Academy book. Is there any other tasks or?
Yes, of course. I sent the task yesterday, the new task. The PDF of SAT, ACT, EST advanced words. You can start this by doing 3 pages daily. Okay?
Do I have to, like, do I study it or do I have to send you anything?
No, just study 3 pages daily and inform me.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Rahma. Marvelous.
Thank you, Mr. Bye.
You're so welcome. Bye-bye. Yeah, you should stay, Rujain Khaled. All of you can leave now, guys. You can leave, all of you. Hamad Orab, you can leave. Sulaiman Najib, you can leave.